For over a century, the Reed's family has lived and farmed in this part of southeastern Massachusetts. It's winter now, and the brothers Roger and Lenny Reed are preparing for another year of planting and harvesting in the fields. Today, Roger and his helper Clyde are repairing last season's damage to the tractors and equipment.
Don't ask me what I'm doing, I don't know.
We'll get everything all ready, make sure it's all set to go, you know, and there's always something to do on them, or something ready to break. We bought them from all over, Baker Tractor mostly. Then we bought some at auction used, you know. And I bought a couple in Pennsylvania. I got some tractor, I guess, probably the late 40s, international, so just for cultivating. You can't buy them new.
Lenny Reed is coming to work. He's just in time for the morning coffee break in the packing shed.
This time of the year we start at 7. Sometimes we even start at 8 because I don't want to get done too early in case we have an order. It's slow right now. I do the selling. I do a lot of the planning as far as how many pallets is going to be on this truck, how much you need on a pallet. I walk over the fields to see what we have to sell because you have to book it like a week ahead. So I'll try to judge about what is coming, let's say a week ahead of time.
Roger and Lenny Reed have worked together on the farm since they were boys.
One of us, was 3 of us, me, Lenny, and Freddie, and we'd take turns leading the horse, and one would use behind the cultivator and stuff like that. You know, we'd take turns, one leading the horse, who wouldn't step on the plants.
Well, we just grew into it. We was kids, just like any other family farm, you know. When we were small enough, we'd be just following Dad and my uncle around and getting in the way. And, you know, I can remember in the greenhouse, sometimes we'd be planting some weeds just to keep us occupied while they was planting.
Before the farm began to specialize in produce, it was a sawmill on the Segregansett River.
Way back, it used to be into sawing wood and selling wood. And my grandfather had a sawmill. I'm not sure before him, but it goes way, way back.
My father went into it, then we took over and went into it a lot bigger. My father was a lot of wood. We did a lot of wood when we was younger, pulp wood and logs in the winter. And we plowed snow, anything to make a few dollars.
That's what it's come down to in farming now. Years ago they had everything from a few chickens, a few cows, apples, you name it, but now it's all specialty.
As spring gets closer, work in the greenhouse begins.
January starts slow. Some of the stuff that has to start early. Get into March and you're full speed.
Plants are grown for planting in the fields and also for selling at the stand.
We start the plants for the farm out there. Some of them we have contract grown, where we may have bedding plants in the greenhouse, to sell in the spring.
The Reed brothers farm several fields, the biggest located in Rainham and Taunton. The Taunton fields once belonged to Dighton's, a dairy that is no longer in operation.
J.K. Milliken, that ran Mount Finishing Company, he owned a big part of North Dighton. We said it's on the North Dighton-Taunton line. That was his gentleman's farm. That was a show place in its day, dairy cows. He had other stuff there too. I understand the house that's there used to be the piggery years ago when he had it.
Once the danger of a hard frost is past, the plows begin turning over the soil.
Well, it's going to be, decent weather now. We usually start, about second, third week in April.
Here in the Rainham fields, not much besides grass catches on the plow blades. Over at Dighton's, it's a different story.
Rainham farm, I can move up there. There's no stones up there. The farm down here is stony as heck. They call them reset plows. They hit a stone, they'll kick back and they'll come back again. Now and then we do break them, like I get caught between ledge, they can't come back and trip. Like I said, the farm down here is a lot of stone.
Once plowing is finished, Roger and Clyde go over the fields again with harrows.
It breaks the land up, smooths it up. Clyde does most of the harrowing. Sometimes he goes over it twice, and if it's real rough, he'll go over it the third time.
Just as everything looks all set for planting to begin, the weather takes an unusual turn for the worse. Heavy rains and below average temperatures mean a slow start to the planting season.
The spring, it was wet. A lot of it wet and cold. That affected the early ones. Then we had it dry and hot. That affected those. You had some in between that seemed to be in the twilight zone or something that did normal.
Finally, the rain stops. Planting can start here at Dighton's. Today, Albert is planting more seed corn in a field that he started earlier in the week.
ordinarily be too deep, but right now it's a little dry.
It's important to get the seed depth right. Too shallow, and wind and rain will wash the seed away. Too deep, and it won't come up fast enough. Graphite and bird repellent is added to the seed before it is poured into the hoppers. A good helping of fertilizers dispensed from these hoppers and mixed into the ground with the seed.
Albert does most of the planting and spraying. That's what he does, planting and spraying. Lenny will tell him I want this planted every couple of weeks, like summer squash we plant every couple of weeks. Beans we plant about every week. Corn we plant about a piece every week. So much, you know what I mean? Because Lenny knows what he sells.
We stagger the plantings by the number of the days of that variety of corn, and sometimes the weather will throw it off. You know, you'll have corn back up on you, or if you get, say, a week of cold nights, corn will sell faster than it ripens, you'll be short of corn. And when you're short of corn, everybody's short of corn because the weather's the same in their fields.
Corn is only one of the many things that the Reed farm grows.
We grow about 6 or 7 crops. We grow cucumbers, eggplant, yellow and green squash, sweet corn, peppers, beans, and cabbage. That's about it.
Now that the fields are planted, it's a constant fight against weeds and insects that try to eat the young crop. Here Raymond is driving a cultivator. Its teeth pull up weeds, aerate the soil, and fertilizer is dispensed from its side hoppers. Sprayers are used to kill both weeds and bugs.
I used to spray years and years ago, but now they changed everything, you know. Albert does all the spraying. He knows all the sprays you use, how much to put, and
These hoses are filling the sprayer tanks with water that Albert mixes the spray with. In all weather, the sprayer continues its work. The bugs keep on eating and the weeds keep growing. A few weeds make it through the spraying and cultivating. These need to be removed by hand.
they hole in between the plants where the cultivators can't get. See, some fields we use weed spray, some stuff we don't. You know, and the weed spray that we use ain't really, it takes all the weeds, it takes a percentage.
Once the plants reach maturity, they block out the sun and weeds can't grow. This corn is definitely knee-high by the 4th of July. The first crop of the season, summer squash, is ready for harvest. The men go over the fields picking the squash into their buckets. Most crops the Reed farm grows are harvested this way. The truck is loaded up and driven back to the packing shed. Here the men unload the truck and prepare the squash for processing.
That is run through a washer, brushes, and comes into a big tub of water. Then it's packed according to size as they're packing it into the boxes.
The string beans are ready for picking now.
I remember when we used to grow a lot of beans and had an awful lot of bean pickers picking by hand. And they had some big clumsy bean pickers. But, we investigated like that, and it was too clumsy, too crude. As it got better and better and more adapted to this area, well, we get into machine harvest of beans. When I was a kid, we picked a lot of beans by hand.
One part of the job is still done by hand. Someone has to walk behind the picker and place the boxes so the machine can fill them. Lenny has just finished picking the field of beans next to Roger's. Now the beans are ready to be loaded onto the truck. As the full boxes are placed on the truck, Lenny finds out that there are no more empty boxes. A quick call to the shed and a case are on their way.
For a while we had CB radios. They helped a lot. One was on one end of the farm, one was on the other. One got stuck, you could get a hold of the other instead of walking and running down and get the other guy, Yeah, then when we expanded, we got the phones when they came in.
And the boxes arrive.
Beans are just graded by machine as long as they're good. There's no mold or broken. Or the grader usually eliminates the anything broken or like that.
As summer wears on, there's less and less rain. The crops are dry now. This tractor is pumping water out of the river. It generates enough pressure to spray an entire field with water. Dave is placing the water gun now. Nothing like a giant sprinkler when it's 90 degrees. Sweet corn is harvested with a team of men and a tractor.
We just pick once. Very rare you go through and spot pick. If you really need it, and there's some that may be so uneven, but usually you wait and you go right through, and it's a one shot. Grate it, make sure there's no ears in there that don't belong. That's all. It's a fairly simple operation. We don't process it. Processing would be getting it ready to cook or something like that. It's just the way you see it in the store, not husk.
Cucumbers are one of the faster growing crops and need to be picked often.
We just pick it by hand. Every 2-3 days, depending on the weather. It's hot and wet, they'll grow fast. You'll go back where you pick. You pick a few times. As long as it's worth picking, and they keep coming, you keep going back.
Nearby, eggplant and cabbage is being harvested.
Eggplant is started in the greenhouse. That will go out after frost, about the end of May. That won't take any frost. See, processing, see, we're fresh market, which is a more labor intensive. Processing, you have a lot of machinery because it's handled quick and I don't have to have that appearance. It's got to be processed anyways.
Cucumbers, eggplant, and peppers are processed much like summer squash. They are washed, grated, and boxed.
One time we sent a trailer load of cabbage. It was exported to Thailand. That was all in bags. And we just took it down to Elizabeth, New Jersey, and they took it from there. We hire some trucks to bring stuff in, say from Western New York or like that. But all our delivery's done on our own trucks. We went into some retail in the early 60s. You know, when most farmers didn't retail. We did both retail and wholesale. And the only ones left now are retail. You know, the last, say, 20 or 25 years. There's hardly any that just wholesale around here now. We started the stand the early 60s. I would say even 61 maybe, 60 or 61. The first stand we had, we leased down in Lakeville, and there was a small farm there, about 15 acres. You know, we used to plan it, we hired that whole thing. It was a small business, a small farm, but that was, you know, the first retail, because it was a high traffic road, and we had that for a few years, and we built one right here on this farm.
Here you go. You beat me out here.
Fall is here. Harvest is over. The fields are plowed and harrowed under. One last thing has to be done. Grass is planted to hold down the soil until next year.
Let's see what happens. Let's do a small. Hey, I don't know.
You can't mix it in the blender.
Butternut squash is big business for the Reed brothers. They used to grow it themselves in their own fields. Now they only process it.
We don't do much of that around here because we can do it more efficient out there. We get it from everywhere. The biggest part would be from western New York, contract growers. Different seasons we've had growers as far away as Mexico, Honduras, Florida, South Carolina. We give them the seed, it's stored there, and we bring it in, wash it down to the Mount Hope farm, bring it in here and pack it or peel it, whatever you're going to do with it.
This crate of dirty butternut is ready to be run through the washer. Now that the butternut is clean, it's brought to the packing shed for more processing. Lenny will give us a guided tour of the process now.
We put them on these machines. It's like a lathe. It peels them to get it ready. There's 9 on this line, and we have these 4 set up temporary when we're busier at like Thanksgiving or heavy orders, or when stores are on sale, the orders are heavier. We can have, 4 extra peelers peeling. A lot of places where they peel squash, they'll put it in these little baskets or something. When it's peeled, we like to use these sharpen carts that can bring it right over to the splitter. That works nice. This is the next step here. They go up through this splitter. All it is really is an endless belt pushing the squash through a knife continuously. Then we can take and what they call gutting the seeds out, like Roger's doing there. Right now where it's a little heavy, we got an extra station here. It comes down off that belt onto a rotary table, and they're grading it there. Some of that is going to halves that are shaped so-so, and the rest is being put over here into dice. We also do 10-pound bags for institutional, food service. But these all have to be weighed. We do a 16-ounce pack. This is a 20-ounce pack that they're doing. From here, they go over to the, we can go around this way. This is all a computerized machine. It puts the size of the bag, how much pressure is on it. They come through there, it makes an automatic seal. These are high-speed automatic machines. Then it comes through this tunnel that shrinks it. You can probably see inside the tunnel here. See how that comes through? They blow up, and then the air comes out, because as that's coming through there, there's little fine holes. They're all regulated. So it lets the air out of the bag. Then they come out over here. We have to code them. Some of the markets, this particular machine is doing Shaw's Supermarket. We have to put the sell-by date on it. And they put their Shaw's label. It's their own label. We also have Stop and Shop, which they're going to be running in a few minutes. They put 15 pounds in a box. These halves, they're all weighed. Then they're palletized. They come over here, they wrap them up. Then the last thing before shipping, they come into this vacuum cooler. The vacuum cooler takes 6 pallets at a time, and I think Albert runs it around 40 to 42 minutes. He has to bring the vacuum up to a certain pressure before the temperature starts coming down. He has to stay right with it, or if he's not careful, he can freeze it. I think it must be almost ready to come out. We'll see. We'll go up and talk with Albert. He'll know how much more time is left. You're going to be on camera, Albert. You better. How much time you got left here, Albert? It's got about 2 minutes left. How cold did you get down? It's about 36 right now. About 34. He gained down to about 34 degrees. Which, when that comes out, it should be probably 38 to 40 degrees. He's got it timed. Like I say, he has to be careful, or we have, once in a while, just about quarter load freezing, you know, right on the borderline. I guess he's all done. He's going to open that up, and we'll see how cold it is. We'll probably do, I don't want to get run over here, probably 12 to 1,500 cases today, I would say.
Oh yeah, we farmed in Delaware. Of course, Lenny would know where that was. We farmed Halifax down Cumberland Farms. We farmed over Rochester, White's Farm. We found our land all over. It's unbelievable. It's all houses now, a lot of this land we found when we was kids, you know.
See, we've been at it for so long, and they just know that we do it. If you're thinking of looking at a farm or something like that, you'd probably think of us. It was something to do with the farm. Whether you're looking to buy something or you're looking for a job, you know, because we're so well known.